what's this all about? So I'm here to absolutely diffuse fake news and delusional conspiracy theories, but I'm not going to do that by debating them. And if you were in any doubt at all about how important it is for responsible broadcasters, whether it's ITV or LBC, to give precisely no air or bandwidth whatsoever to such madness, such dangerous absurdity that has already seen people setting fire to phone masts in this country, I think 20 or 30 cases of that, then yesterday's episode of This Morning would have absolutely driven the point home for you. And the apology today is not good enough. You know, Priti Patel is sorry if Eamon Holmes is sorry. Well, he didn't actually say sorry. He's clarified, but added, however, many people are rightly concerned and are looking for answers. That's not good enough, mate. Many people are right. There's no however when you're describing utter idiocy. You know, the problem that Ofcom have, because London Live, a cable channel in London, did an interview with David Icke on this subject, and that's been referred to Ofcom as well. The problem that Ofcom have, of course, is that David Icke has as much right and as much knowledge to talk about, for example, coronavirus as Nigel Lawson does to talk about climate science, and he BBC until relatively recently. You could go further, of course, and point out that David Icke has as much right and as much knowledge to talk about coronavirus as an awful lot of people in public life had to talk about, for example, trading on WTO terms. So Ofcom is being called upon to say, well, hang on a minute, you can't balance out idiocy, whereas if I was here to defend David Icke, or indeed Eamon Holmes, which I'm categorically not, I'd point out that every major broadcaster in the country has had people defending utter fact-free idiocy for the best part of a decade now. So that is my statement on Eamon Holmes's statement. And as Mark Di Stefano, a journalist I really like actually, he's the media and tech reporter at the Financial Times, no fear nor favour, as he points out, I think quite cleverly, see if you can notice the wink to those that won't be convinced. So as he offers up a clarification of his comments that he says some of you may have misinterpreted, as he offers up that, quote, clarification, we also have this line here, however, many people are rightly concerned and are looking for answers. Nobody is rightly concerned about a link between 5G phone masts and coronavirus. Nobody is rightly concerned. It's a bit like when you had people in constituencies with no immigration talking about their constituents having valid concerns about immigration. They're not valid if they're not real. Nobody can be rightly concerned about links between 5G and coronavirus for the very simple reason that there aren't any.
So we can all have a laugh and joke about this, but when it starts to evolve into physical threats to members of the public and damage to property, then I think we need to call a stop to it. This conspiracy theory has gotten completely out of hand. And really, it's a demonstration of how gullible people can be. We've seen this, of course, related to Brexit. And now you have people resorting to damage to physical property in order to stop the virus because they read it on Facebook or on social media. This damage, for example, this antenna, it could potentially mean many members of the public who have family members or relatives in a hospital and they can't get in to see them. They may not actually have that live link in their last moments because some idiot burnt down the antenna. Now, I was contacted by a doctor on Patreon, and he pointed out a very important aspect of this as well, that many electronic devices that hospitals need in order, for example, to communicate with patients if they have medication to take, or to control, for example, pacemakers and other objects that require some type of data transfer. These can also be affected by the damage to antennas. So people need to take a step back and realize, okay, what information am I receiving? Where is it coming from? And who is pushing it? because this is really getting out of hand here. Now, the idea that the BBC or ITV is entertaining this demonstrates how much of a failing they have been over the last number of years. And James O'Brien is right here, where you have, on one side, you would have a scientist with a PhD who has years and years of study and research and experience behind them, knowledge and experience behind them. And on the other side, you would have somebody who is either a politician or someone who runs a blog or has a Facebook page or a YouTube channel, and they would be presented to the public as equals in regard to the information that they're transmitting to the public. So you'd have somebody who has years and years of experience and knowledge and study, and on the other side you would have somebody who has an opinion. And the opinion is just as valid as the years of experience and knowledge. This is what we're talking about now. This is journalism today. The idea that everyone has an opinion, and everyone's opinion is just as valid as everyone else's. And this has already led us towards the destruction of the UK in a way because of Brexit. But now it's also resulting in the United States, for example, where you have Donald Trump peddling different myths and people turning up at public buildings fully armed because they don't agree with what the governor of their state is implementing during this crisis. Because they read on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever that it's all a hoax, or it's all a scam, or it's a power grab, or it's an attempt to diminish people's freedoms. This is what we're up against. And unfortunately, without a strong media presence that cares about facts and reality, this is going to continue.